So this is today's makeup look. It is a look that is suitable for both prom and bridal, and it's a versatile look that can be adjusted to any skin tone. It's more about the placement of the eyeshadows, just varying the shape depending on your eye shape. I hope you like it. If you want to see how to create this beautiful look, keep on watching. We've had no nice weather, and the one day I decide to film in the week is the one day it's hottest. So I'm not going to be doing my hair. I'm just going to leave it up out of the way because it's just too hot to have down. So you're just going to have to imagine the makeup look with my hair as if I was getting married or going to prom. I'm sorry, but it is super hot. I've already got moisturiser and SPF on my face. I'm now just going to apply some foundation. The one I'm going to use is the Luminous Silk by Giorgio Armani. The brush I'm using is the NYX Professional Makeup Brush number 4, and it's a duo fibre brush. So if you're getting married, prep your skin according to the time of the year where you're getting married, what the weather's going to be like. If it's winter, you might want more hydration. If it's the summer, you might want to add some oil control to your makeup prep. The colour I'm going for at the minute is 6.5. That's kind of my shade for early summer. It's kind of my preferred foundation on myself. I always adjust the foundation on my client depending on their skin's needs. If they've got dry skin, if they're oily, the makeup prep is kind of the important part. So just make sure that you take all that into consideration. I've done it in loads of tutorials, so forgive me for kind of skipping through that part today. So I like to use a duo fibre brush because it doesn't apply too much of the product. It really blends in nicely, and I mostly use it to get the product over the skin, and then I just press the foundation into the face using a damp sponge. Everybody has different preferences, whether it's prom or weddings. Some people like full coverage, other people like medium coverage. I'm a person that likes to be able to see skin through, so I'm only going to apply one layer of the foundation. I'll add some concealer to the face just to lighten the centre afterwards. I'm now going in with the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. It's got a doe foot applicator, which is really easy to use. I've actually seen a few people using this as a concealer. I actually tried this for the first time the other day on a client and it worked amazingly. That's a really good tip. So I'm going to take this over the whole eyelid, mainly focusing on the bottom half and then just using what's left on the bristles to work that up towards the brow, because we aren't going to be taking too much colour up too high. So we don't want it to be too neutral at the top, otherwise it won't match the foundation. You can just blend this in with your finger, you don't have to use a brush. You'll have to excuse my eyebrows, I'm going on holiday in a couple of weeks, so I'm just leaving them before I go and get them threaded for holiday. The next palette I'm going to use is this one by Natasha Denona. This is her 5 colour eyeshadow palette, and they come in different shades. So this is palette number 8. The only one I'm going to be using out of this palette is this one here, which is 52M Golden Beige. So I'm taking this on a flat shaded brush and I'm pressing this over the mobile lid, and as you can see, it's so beautifully reflective. It's got a really pretty kind of almost iridescent finish. This can look a little bit light on some people, so sometimes I will go in and press a loose pigment over the top. I'm going to be doing that today, but this on its own really is stunning. The 2 shades I'm going to use are by MAC, and I am using Embark and Swiss Chocolate. The brush I'm using is by Blank Canvas Cosmetics, and this is a small crease brush, and I like this because you can be really precise with it. So depending on your eye shape, I don't have the most amazing amount of space between my lid and my brow, so I don't want to close that off too much, so I create a bit more of a V shape. If you've got a lot of space there, you can create more of a rounded eye. It's not going to be an obvious V shape, I just mean we're going up at this angle and then across there. We're not creating too much of a round shape, so that's the V shape that we're creating. Now, although this could be quite smoky, you have to also remember that makeup photos are a lot lighter, especially with flash photography. So if you're a bride that's getting married or you're going to prom and you've got professional photographers there, then you need to go a little bit heavier. So I'm just mixing both shades together. I'm applying a layer of the eyeshadow first, blending it out, and then going back in with another layer. This is going to sandwich the colours together so they'll last a lot longer, but they'll also be more intense. So just keep swapping between the brush that you're laying down the colour with and then the brush that you're blending out with. You've seen me use these pigments before. These are Selfie and Peached by Peaches and Cream, and they're two of my absolute favourite because they're a pressed loose pigment. They've got a little bit more shine to them. I'm going in with the same brush that I used to apply the Natasha Denona shade, and I'm pressing Selfie over the mobile lid. And I'm using a flat shader brush because if you use something that's too fluffy, you're just going to lose the pigment in the bristles. This packs it all on to the eyelid. I'm then taking the shade Peach, which is this colour here, which looks a bit deeper, but it actually gives off a bit more shine. And I'm just pressing that directly on the centre of the mobile lid. The centre of the lid is what's going to catch the light the most with this on. So just by putting it here in the centre, it's making that area look bigger. Going back in with a little bit more of Embark and Swiss Chocolate by MAC. I'm literally kind of just hugging that outer eyelid with the bristles so that placement goes down, which looks quite intense. And then once you've used that to put the eyeshadow down, take a little bit of tissue and just dust your brush off onto it, and then go back in and just softly start to blend the seams. That's going to prevent you from creating a muddy mess. You don't want to take all of that intense pigment that you've just laid down and then take it too high. So I'm taking the same shades underneath my lower lashes, and as I always say, you're connecting that with the outer corner of the top lid, which is this section here, and that frames the eye. And I'm using a small brush from Zoeva. I will list all the links to the brushes down below. Now these looks are completely adjustable, so if you prefer it less smoky, you can apply less of the smoky shades. Next I'm mixing together a small amount of my Sepia Ink Gel Eyeliner by Bobbi Brown and Inglot Duraline, which is a mixing medium which makes this more fluid, and it also makes it waterproof. The brush I'm using is a craft brush, and the name has worn off, but it's just a natural hair, long and thin style bristle. So it's got a lot of flex to it, so you kind of use the tip to create the wing and the thin point, but the belly of the brush to kind of glide over the top of your lid. Now you don't have to create a wing, depending on my client's eye shape. If they can pull one off, if they've not got a hooded eye, then I will give them a wing because it often gives a nice lift to the shape of their eye. I'm just using a angled liner brush to soften. Whether it was prom or bridal, I would take this underneath the top lash line to get rid of any pinky tones. It helps to make your lash line look fuller. I'm just using what's left on the very tip of the brush to work that between the lower lashes. It kind of adds a little bit of a liner, but it's still quite soft. I like wearing eyeliner, but I know a lot of people don't. I'm just going to pop a cream pencil on the waterline. This one is the Full Spectrum pencil by Makeup Geek. Any sort of flesh toned pencil would do. Adding a cream colour there helps to make your eyes look less tired. It also makes them look bigger and brighter. This one is a really good mascara. This one is by Diego de la Palma, and it's the semi-permanent water resistant mascara. Now what makes this different is that it really is semi-permanent. It's one of those ones that would last days until you take it off. Ideal for a wedding, a holiday. You can sweat in it, you can cry in it, it's not coming off. But as I am taking this off after the tutorial, I'm going to use the Mascara Revolution by Makeup Revolution. This one is an £8 mascara, but it really does add volume and drama to your lashes. But I wouldn't say it would be your ideal one for prom or wedding. They do a waterproof version, which definitely is ideal. But if you don't like drama, then you might not like this mascara. For £8 though, it really is exceptional. A few people have complained that they get little bits falling down. I don't have that issue. For those that do, try the waterproof version because it's so blooming good. If any of it touches your lid, just wait for it to dry and then you can knock it off with a cotton bud. I mean, that's just one coat. Now what I would say is if you get married, you don't want spidery lashes, so a very light coat of mascara and some individual clusters are the best way forward for wedding makeup. I'm just going to pop some on my lower lashes. So I've just filled in my brows. just to add a little bit of definition. In terms of lashes, you could just go for mascara if you like. I would recommend either individual clusters, which I'm a massive fan of, because they just give you a nice beautiful fluffy look and you don't have that concern of the strip lash coming off. You can get the little quarter eyelashes that go on just the outer lash line, which give you a little bit of a lift and they give a nice fluffy appearance, but it's not all the way across, so it's a lot more natural. You can wear a strip. I would recommend the Ardell Demi Wispies. I'm going to pop on some individual clusters. I do have a tutorial which I will link on screen for you on how to apply the individual lashes, and then I'll be back. I received these new concealers by Natasha Denona, and these are the Transfix matte concealers, and there is something like 23 shades. Super long wearing. As I said, they are a matte finish, which I think is good for kind of bridal and prom, because you can add the shine where you want it, but you kind of don't want to be super dewy or shiny underneath here, and you really don't want it moving. So something matte I think would be a good idea. I'm kind of in between shades. I want a brightening effect under the eye, but I don't want it to be over the top. You want to be timeless on your wedding day. You don't want to be able to look back and go, I know what era you got married in, because you had super white under eyes, so that must have been year 2018-19. 1 or 2 shades at max brighter than the rest of your face. To give it a nice natural finish, I like to just press that into the skin with my damp sponge. If you have particularly dry skin, something matte might not be perfect for you. If you're quite crepey, you might not want something that's too matte. I quite like the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. I find that that's got a little bit more emolliency to it, but it does stay in place really well. I also really like the Marc Jacobs Accomplice Concealer, which I used in my last tutorial, and a lot of people with dry skin are saying they absolutely love that. If you're interested and you're getting married and you're doing your own makeup, I did a podcast with the Wedding people, which I will link below, and it's just kind of going over a bit more about doing your own makeup and do's and don'ts and kind of trends. I go through a lot of my pet hates, so I will link that below for you. One of my favourite products, as you know, is the Soleil Tan de Chanel. It smells incredible and it just wears really beautifully on the skin. It adds a slight dewiness to the skin, even with oily skin. As long as you're not putting it in the areas that you're particularly oily, it wears really well. And now, if you're probably prom age, you don't have a massive budget, so there are alternatives available. Bourjois do a version, and that one's really good. I also like to just pop a little bit over the nose, but if you are particularly oily, you might not want to apply it there. I just want that kind of healthy glow, like I've been in the sun. I also like to take it around the hairline. If it was my wedding day, I would go in and conceal kind of any tiny visible bits of pigmentation that I've got left, just because it's for a tutorial today and I'm not going to bother. It's about 32 degrees today, and in some places that won't be as hot because they'll be like, we deal with that weather all the time, but we don't, and it is really, really warm. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting makeup off my face. So I'm popping that on, and then I'm just going over with the foundation brush that we used at the very beginning, and I'm just softly blending that in, because when you first apply it, it can be quite orange, but if you work it into the skin, it will blend into your foundation. Don't pull the colour down into the areas you don't want it, just keep it where you need it and just work it in circular motions until it's blended. Don't forget to also take it over your ears if you've got your hair up for your wedding or your prom. You want to make sure that your ears are included, and then just go over any earrings you've got in so there's no makeup on them. Take it from off of your jaw onto your neck so there's no visible lines. If you're English Rose, then you might want to avoid a bronzer altogether and just keep the skin very fresh and just go for a blush. For blusher, I think I'm going to use these new Nude Sticks Nudies Bloom. Now, I went to a launch for these the other day and they're really, really incredible. There's 4 shades available and they look quite intense, but they come out really, really quite subtle. You can make them more intense, but they blend beautifully. They give you a dewy finish. Obviously, if you want a matte finish, then just go with a powder. I think I'm going to go for the Sweet Peach Peony. You can use it straight from the product, but I like to use it on a brush first. And then just work that over, and this gives a beautiful fresh appearance to the skin. I've showed you so many powder blushes in the past. This is a new one that I'm really, really loving, and it's definitely going in my kit for bridal. So for people like me that really don't like highlighter because it's kind of overused, but also because I don't like how it picks up the texture on the skin, this is beautiful because although it might make your texture look a little bit more enhanced. It doesn't do it on the same level that a highlighter does, and it gives you a beautiful glow without any highlighter. So it just makes you look super fresh. So if you're slightly more mature, I think you're going to really like this. And if you're young, obviously, you'll like either the highlighter or these. These are incredible. I might also pop a little bit of this on the lips. It kind of just mimics the colour of your lips. It just adds a little hint of a glossy finish. It looks super natural. I love that, so pretty. I'm going to take a small amount of the Peach Loose Pigment and just add that to the inner corners of the eyes, and also just lightly underneath the tear duct. There's two powders I like for bridal. I like the Vichy Derma Blend because it really does set the centre of your face and it just stops your makeup from moving, and that's a translucent powder. And I've also just been really loving the Lock-It Powder Foundation by Kat Von D. I like to take a sponge and press it into the powder and just press that through the centre of the face, particularly if, like me, you're oily and you want to make sure that that's all set in place. And then the ultimate setting spray at the moment is the Huda Beauty Rest In Boss Face. Now this is very strong in its scent, but it doesn't seem to last too long, and I've been testing it out on a couple of my clients and they've all said it's incredible and the smell really didn't bother them. I know there's a lot of hoo-ha about the smell. It is quite strong, it is very floral, but it's kind of like, do you put up with the slight floral scent and your makeup lasts all day, or use more of an average setting spray? I find this is incredible. It really is like lacquer for your face. I've never kind of done this eye makeup on myself. I've obviously done it on tons of clients. I find neutral shades tend to go with everything. It go with the colour themes, it doesn't clash with the bridesmaids, and you just adjust it according to their eye shape, their skin tone. You can go slightly warmer, slightly cooler, but this kind of style is perfect. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and don't forget all the products I've used will be listed and linked in the description bar. Hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you missed the last week's tutorial, it will be on screen for you. You can follow me outside of YouTube on my social handles, which are also on screen. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!